The Bricklin mag wheel has a lug nut and washer assembly. It's very similar to aftermarket wheels in the 70s. The bolt circle is tight on a Bricklin, close to the center cap, and it's very easy to damage these nice pretty center caps. So there is a procedure for taking the wheel off and on, and the first thing we have to remember is to use a thin socket. You do not want the socket to come in contact with the center cap. It'll come close, but if you do it right, it won't hurt anything. You can remove the center caps, but that can also damage them too. So we're going to do this properly without removing the center cap. So the first thing we have to remember is when the lug nuts are removed, the wheel will drop down. So the last lug nut that you remove should be the lug nut at the top. So remove the bottom ones first, and be sure and keep the washer and the lug nuts together. And I like to put my knee up against the wheel so it doesn't move. You see the wheel drop down? Now we won't hit the center cap if we do that properly. Now we're going to put the wheel on properly, and yes, there is a method to put these wheels on without damaging anything. These are hard to find original wheels, and you don't want to mess them up. So first thing I would do is roll this over. I like to hopefully you don't have knee problems. If you do, you might want to get a block of wood, but you just lift it up on your leg. I would clock this, put one of these studs straight up so that when I roll it up, then I'll be lined up, because these are a little bit goofy to line up. And we got it. So I'm putting my knee against the bottom. You can also set something against it. But what we're going to do is put these lug nuts on just 2 or 3 threads. Now, I do recommend using the hardened stainless steel washers. The original washers will damage the wheel. They'll bend the flange where they mount. We have stainless steel washers specifically designed for these cars, and the little letter goes towards goes towards the outside of the wheel. We also have brand new lug nuts too. We're going to put each one on just 2 or 3 threads. That's it. Do not grind it against the aluminum. And you just go around and make sure your washers are right side up. And we're going to put every lug nut on, 2 or 3 threads. So here's the big trick to getting this done right. You're going to grab the whole wheel, lift it, and pull it back over onto the lug nuts. This way we have no risk of damaging the center cap or damaging the hole that the lug nuts go through. Now I would recommend putting your impact on super slow speed, because we're going to roll these down a little at a time, and I've got my hand on top of the wheel holding it in place. So you just roll them down a little bit. A little bit at a time, each lug nut. Until one of them goes snug. And then you go to the next one, and the next one. Now you can tighten them up just a little bit. Not very tight. Keep in mind, using an impact too much is going to damage the chrome. Now at this point, we torque these by hand to 80 foot-pounds. And I would highly recommend just using a regular torque wrench. 80 foot-pounds, click, done. But you will have to set this on the ground lightly. You don't have to put it all the way down on the way to the car. Just set the wheel down until it contacts the ground. Torque them to 80 foot-pounds. With the torque wrench set at 80 foot-pounds, very carefully install the socket onto the lug nuts, and I'd only let the car down enough to touch the ground. There's one. Two, rotate the extension so it grabs onto the lug nut. If you don't, you might miss. And operate in a star pattern when you torque these down. This one, this one, this one, this one, and then this one. Okay. So we've successfully taken the wheel off and on without damaging anything and torqued it down properly. Now if you do damage something, I'd be happy to sell you a set of center caps or lug nuts or whatever you need. But hopefully we can save you some money here in the future by doing this right. I hope this video makes your Bricklin restoration a lot easier.